It's Everett, back with you at Hood Time Welding. Today we're going to talk about my Primeweld 225X TIG welding. It's the first machine that I purchased when I got back into welding. I've been out of it for a few years, so I was looking for a machine that I could do stick and TIG with. Those are my two favorite processes. And so I went with I did a lot of research and I went with Primeweld. There's a couple of reasons I went with the Primeweld. If you stick with me, I'll list them all out. I'll tell you all the info. I know these videos can get a little bit long. So when I started researching, I went on to welders under $1,000 that can do what I wanted. And the one that kept popping up on all the lists was the Primeweld 225. It's a AC/DC machine that can do TIG and can do stick. It is pretty well thought of on Amazon. It's at 4.9 stars. It's listed as for $869 on Amazon, and on Primeweld itself it's at $869, but right now they're running a $25 off for any order over $100. So the main reasons I went with Primeweld is, first, the duty cycle is pretty good. You can do mild steel, you can do stainless, you can do aluminum, so you hit all the processes. And then reading the customer reviews. First off, my big thing is what happens if it breaks. We're in a field that stuff breaks on you. So Primeweld offers a 3-year warranty. You can transfer it once if you call them within the US. Outside of the US, they ship you parts at cost. Like I said, it's 3 years with free shipping to them. You're not paying for the shipping, which is a big thing. This one itself weighs 41 pounds, so when you start shipping something that much, it's going to start adding up real quick. A lot of my videos, you'll see I'm usually using my Primeweld 180 because it's MIG weld, it's a faster process. But I do have a couple videos. I have the ramp repair and the Hummer step repair where I use the aluminum features. It was pulse. In my next video coming out soon, you're going to be seeing me weld up this tail. I'm going to be using all TIG on it because on the long seams I'm going to be getting rid of them, so I want to be able to grind them right out. And on these ones I want a nice weld on them, so you'll be able to see me doing TIG welding. I don't have any stick videos. I've done stick with it plenty of times. It's just, it was before I started doing videos. So the box itself, the box comes and you're very impressed with, it is packed tightly in there. Everything's styrofoamed in tight. They have guards on the corners. Nothing's gonna move. First thing, you open it up, you get to the owner's manual. The owner's manual on these, especially for me that have been out of it a little bit. First off, right at the very bottom, you need help, they have their help number. You go through and it has what's included in the box, somewhere in here. Let me find it, which I have laid out here, which I'll show you a little bit more in depth. For each process, it has the breakdown of what you need to select, which switches you have to have pushed on, how everything's hooked up. So if you've been out it for a little bit or you're brand new to it, it really helps out. It shows you some pointers on how to get a better weld, how to do the weld, and it pretty much explains all the switches. So this has got that for all the different processes. Like I said, it can do TIG, AC, or DC, so it can do aluminum, mild steel, stainless. It can do stick, DC. It's a really complete owner's manual. It's really nice. So what actually came in the box was the welder, of course, itself. You get a CK TIG torch. It's flexible head, which is a really nice TIG torch. It's 12.5 feet long. Sorry, it's the 17 series Superflex CK TIG torch. You get your ground, which we'll talk about later. You get a 12-foot stinger. You get your adapter. Again, I'd already cut the 110 off of here so I can make an adapter when I'm going to different 220 type things, or 220 plugs. The end of the CK torch, you can see the setup here. Sorry, I should have pointed that out when I was talking about it. You get a nice foot pedal. It's nice and you can really control the heat, really fine tune it for whatever you get. You do get some consumables. You get the argon hose, mask and hammer, which last video, like I said, when I was doing the 180, it's useless. And you get a torch switch. All this is gonna do is when you press it on and off, it's just gonna turn the TIG torch on, it's gonna turn the TIG torch off. You also have the option to go 2T and 4T, which I explained in the last video. Is 2T is you push it, it stays on, you let go of it, it turns off. 4T is you push it and let go, it stays on. When you wanna stop, you push it, release it again, and it goes off. You can, if you're in a really tight place, you can't get to the foot pedal, you can just preset your torch and put it up there. I just use some wire ties the 1 or 2 times I've had to use it. It goes pretty nice. The only thing I did complain about, or I did do something about, is there was no liner for the torch, so I picked up a denim one off of Amazon, which has done great. I haven't had any problems with it. I'd used my extra stinger lead from my 180 and converted my 12.5 foot now up to a 25 foot lead on my stinger. The welder itself, you can see there's a lot. Like I said, even for the new welders, don't get intimidated by this switchboard. I'll switch it on here, which the switch to turn it on is in the back. So it goes through and explains what each switch does, what each switch does or is supposed to be used for. You have the ability, like I said, just straight stick with DC. Then you can switch over to TIG, which you have your foot pedal control right here. You can do pulse, you can do an upslope, downslope, pre-flow, post-flow. The pulse is actually there's a lot of adjustment there because you have a high and a low. You have your AC frequency and AC balance when you're doing aluminum. So that makes it really nice depending on if you've got newer aluminum or older aluminum. You can tweak it a little bit to get that cleaning process a little more, a little less. You can see it's not too loud of a machine. On the back, we have our gas regulator, which they provide a nice gas regulator. The hose is screwed on. You're not using clamps to connect anything. Also in back, like I said, you have your on and off switch, you have your argon inflow. And the one other thing is you do have a plug for if you want to use the water cooler with this machine, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's a little hard to see. So I'll go ahead and turn the machine off. Not going to be doing any welding with it today. Like I said, you can catch my other videos for that. So we'll get into the specs a little bit. For aluminum, you do have, and you'll have to excuse me if I'm looking down, I've gotten everything written down so I give you the correct information. You have a high frequency start. You can, like I said, you can run this on 110 or 220. I have done some stick on the 110 and it ran fine. I saw one review where they said you can't do 60-10 stick. I did 60-10 stick just fine. I usually use it on old rusty frames. 60-10, it runs 60-10 just fine. I don't know what that person was talking about. So the specs for the welders, it's 120 volts. For TIG, it'll go 20 to 140 amps. On 240 volt, it'll go 20 to 225 amps. It's about the same for stick. Duty cycle on both, 120 and 240 is at max. When you set it at max on either one of those, stick or MIG, or stick or TIG, excuse me, it will do a 40% duty cycle. For TIG, it's 100% at 76 amps when you're doing 120 volts, and if you're at 220 or 240 volts, it'll do 100% at 155 amps, which is usually enough. You might run into some problems when you're welding aluminum where that duty cycle might kick in. I have not hit the duty cycle at all. Stick, pretty similar numbers, 76 amps, 100% duty cycle at 120 volts, 139 amps at 240 volts. The other really nice option about this machine is, like I said, you have that extra plug-in back. And what that's for is it's actually set up so that you can buy a Max Cold 3000 water cooler for your TIG torch. Anybody that's done air-cooled TIG torches know they can get hot after you're welding for a bit. So having the ability, and having the plug already on the machine where it plugs right in to do the water cooler is really nice. The Max Cooler 3000 is $399 on the Primeweld website. The only other thing is you have to upgrade your TIG torch, which CK water torch is $209. Yes, that's another $600, but you get the ability to weld for longer, keeps your torch cooler, you go through less consumables because they don't get distorted from all the heat. So it's pretty well worth it. One of these days I probably will upgrade to that. If this isn't quite what you're looking for, if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, they have the TIG 2000, which is a 200 amp. It's TIG, it'll do TIG and stick, dual voltage, the 120 or 240, but it'll do DC only, so you won't be able to do aluminum. Or if you want, you can step up to the TIG 325X AC/DC TIG welder. That one's only 220 volts only, but that one's $1,349. So it's a little bit more than what I was looking to spend the first time. This seems to kick butt on anything I want to weld on. I was looking today, and some comparable models are the Lincoln 200, but that goes for 2.4K, which is more than I want to spend. One that is in the price range, it's about the same as the Eastwood. It does have a 3-year warranty, but it's your responsibility to ship stuff. So if you ever have to ship anything, you're going to save some money there. And it does not have the pulse function, which we all know is helpful when you're doing aluminum and some of the other stainless steel, titanium. So altogether, this is an awesome setup. I've talked about it before. Primeweld cares about what their customers, cares about what they have to say. My only complaint, as usual, is the grounding clamp is a crappy clamp. I do have a full brass clamp that when this wears out, I will be able to replace it with. But for right now, I'm just going with that. I say get rid of your mask and your hammer. Upgrade this right to they should upgrade this right from the factory to the brass clamp. But we'll see if they listen to that one, if they even hear me, because I'm a small guy. And like I said, I know I use that term a lot, I apologize. Between the owner's manual, if you're new, or if you've been out of it for a while, it goes step through step. If you're not used to all those functions, and you've been welding for a while, it's still gonna help you out. It's a very informative manual. The warranty on this is a great warranty. Like I said, 3 years, which we break things. It's not a crazy thing to think you might break something. Lugging it around, I have taken it to a couple job sites. Being 41 pounds, it's not bad carrying it around. It's not too hefty. Everything hooks up easy. So all in all, I know, like I said, they had 4.9 stars on Amazon. I would give it a 5-star. It's a wonderful welder. One thing I should mention is I am not being sponsored at all by Primeweld. I bought these machines with my own money. It's myself. So when I say it's a good machine, worth the money, I think it holds a little value because I've been using this for over a year. I don't use it as much since I've got the 180, but I still used it enough to know that it's a good machine. It runs nice, lays down nice speeds. You don't really have any problems with it. Easy to switch around between the different processes and that. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below, and I'll try to answer them or try to refer you to somebody that can, their website, whatever. Please subscribe and follow me. I hope this was an informative video. And I will provide the links below to Amazon and to Primeweld for the machine itself. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.